Taurus, 2025 for you is the year that you get fed. You are no longer going hungry. Your soul is nourished. Your physical body is nourished. Your mind is blown. For lack of a better word, it has now a place to expand. You're really kind of seeing the peripheral. You're really seeing what's beyond what you were seeing in a perhaps narrow-minded way for quite some time. And I see this coming through travel, through education, through a thirst for knowledge, for the ability to focus, because you are researching or going down rabbit holes that actually interest you, that are actually important to you. You're meeting people and having deep and meaningful conversations that actually, again, nourish you. It's like I'm seeing all these cells kind of lighting up. So this is a very healthy time for you to be playful, adventurous, confident. And that doesn't mean you have to be super social, because there is an element here twice of you deep in I want to say research again, but it feels like deep in, and they're saying introductions. So it's early education to something. It's early understanding of something. It's a new perception of something. This could feel like listening to a certain podcast every single episode, and it's like it's already out, and so you just needed to catch up. You just needed to, wow, I never knew this existed. There's a thirst here, and it's art. There's art in this recognition of what's been said, and this digestion of what's been said. I think you're really sitting with the information that you are finding. Now, you could be the researcher, like you could be the actual innovator, the paleontologist, if you want to put it that way. It's like you're digging things up through travel, through time travel, right? Through history, through geography, and even through like spiritual understanding and spiritual I was going to say awakenings, but they say wokeness. Okay, so maybe it's actually diving into something that you thought was a bit cringe, and before you judge it, you actually are being called to experience it for yourself. And they're saying unbridled. Okay, so taking off any preconceived notions or judgments. And that's why that perception is changing. That's why that Voyager kind of energy is coming through. And that's why this surrender and leaning in, it's like you literally are saying, okay, I'm Alice, and here we go. We're going down the rabbit hole. Like, actually, and the people that you're meeting, I actually see you surrendering to a lot of love as well. I see you surrendering to a lot of beautiful connections. And where in the past you have kind of pushed yourself up against your own limitations, I do see that mind blown, that busting through old paradigms is actually serving you. It's serving you to feel deep. Oh, I just got full body electricity, like, chills all over my body. This is fun. It's like Spirit is congratulating you in advance and finally saying, like, to be fair, you needed to go through this, to be honest, to be real. Like, you had to be willing to jump. And I think now that you've done that, you're getting rewarded with soulmate friendships, with soulmate love, with renewed love. If you're already in a relationship, something that you've been waiting on, something that you've been putting investment into is paying off independently and in partnerships. Okay, whatever that means to you, because you're inspiring others through the way that you are seeking more information. And this is happening all through the year. This is not something that is going to like completely derail the rest of your life. This is uplifting your whole life throughout 2025. You're asking why on many different fronts in your life. It says, in the midst of a meltdown, I breathe through the discomfort and come out the other side. So anytime that you do feel like there's a push-pull between surrender and that brick wall of your own judgment and your own upbringing, perhaps generational curses, whatever it is for you, wherever there's a push-pull and there's this like tension between the two, again, just knowing that the universe has your back, that this is actually part of your 2025 mission, will help you to, and I do feel like that you are inspiring someone early on with what you are doing. So if this is a friend or a study partner or a business partner or a lover, I do see that like throughout the year, that surrender will include them. Like when I'm getting too up in my head about my thoughts about something, when I'm losing my mind because I'm like, well, what's the meaning of life if I've now know that information? What is the like, why did I act that way when I now understand this part of relationships, when I understand this part of psychology? You might actually start to freak out a little bit, but if you have your person with you or you have someone to call upon, they're saying call upon that person because that's where more deep conversations can come from. And maybe they're saying profoundly simple conversations. So deep doesn't necessarily mean we're sitting here for hours like shooting the breeze. We're actually we can say one word or we can send a link to something and we're like yep, and we're back on track with your person. I do think that part of this nourishment is actually you coming to terms with perhaps some past behaviors, which I hinted at before. But you'll be able to turn that pain into pleasure or that pain into art. You'll be able to, it's like you're circulating, like your cells, those good feeling cells need to circulate to all the dark parts of your, like your knuckles, like your dark parts of your soul. And for some reason, they're connecting soul and physical body, like every nook and cranny. Okay, so your shadows, expect some of those shadows. And when I say that, that could be, you know, I hate that I have this attachment to this one person, even though I know they're toxic for me, or I despise that I secretly drink white wine when no one's watching, even though I've told everyone I've gone sober. And maybe you spent all of last year sober, but you have just started to have a sip here and there, and you're kind of hating on yourself for that. It doesn't need to be that intense. It could be that, you know, I say that I'm trying to cull my wardrobe, which is a very Taurian thing, right? But then I can't stop shopping. It's okay. Like you're learning to work with your shadows, and then they're saying like you might even develop profitability from understanding your shadows. So back on the fashion or the beauty or the just like hoarding of things, and you trying to clean things out, making money from that, or then realizing that, okay, if I love to buy things, why don't I become a stylist? Why don't I become a designer? Why don't I offer my services, even just in a small capacity? Wow, as I said that, they wanted to show me like a chalice. Wow, which is so interesting because my friend just gave me this altar chalice and said, put in it anything that you desire to manifest. Wow, but they actually showed me the chalice before I even looked in that direction. So, but they showed it to me with like, I grew up in a Catholic school, but I'm not Catholic. And they showed me like the body of Christ, those little white things, the wafers, I guess you call them. So it's an offering to yourself. Again, that's nourishment. Oh my gosh. Ooh, I'm getting chills again. The little, like, I hate the blood of Christ and the body of Christ, like whatever you believe in, but like that's food for the masses. Do you know what I mean? And if you're sharing your skills and your passions with the masses, there's an appreciation coming through there. You might even do this online, but I actually feel there's something very tangible about this. Maybe even like starting tours around this. I don't know if that is something that someone's been thinking about here, but there's also this, by the end of 2025, all of this helps you to fully own and love who you are. And I do feel like this is a coming of age that you have been so ready for. It's an adventure. Get ready, enjoy every moment, because it's full. It's very full and you will be so fed. I love it.